God will use as strength to overcome the schemes of the wicked one. And so Satan is trying his best to continue to divide the family, particularly the black family. There has been a really great attack by Satan through not all white, but white supremacy and things like that to keep the black man down and divide his family apart and things like that. We got to get back to God's original order and what God originally meant, particularly where the institution of family is concerned. People are in line right now to be restored and be reconciled and do things the way it ought to truly be done. So what we got to do is make sure that we push God's original institution, and that is of marriage. That's the way it started in the very beginning. He made it clear, be fruitful and multiply. Amen? We got to make sure we get back to that. Here today to talk to us about the importance of marriage and love for your wife and raising your children in the right direction is a friend, brother of mine, our brother Jeff. And I met him some time ago, and somehow we got right into conversation about marriage. And he's very passionate about marriage and about family and what God's order is where marriage is concerned. So much so that I've invited him here today with this to talk about the importance of a healthy marriage and a healthy home on your mental capacity to do things and function the right way. So I'm going to introduce to you our brother Jeff, and he's going to come to us today and he's going to bring to us this topic of marriage, the importance of marriage on mental health. Brother Jeff. Morning. Morning. Gentlemen, how we doing this morning?
All right.
And raise respect to us. Gentlemen, I want to have a conversation with you this morning. I'm going to make it real simple. We're going to talk like men because you know something, it's easy to talk to men if men don't, if men allow you to talk. It took me some years to be able to talk. I'm from a, and you see the pastor set me up with all these young cats over here. So, all right, so I was wondering, like, he's straight, what are you doing? We need to understand that it starts with us. It is our responsibility. If anything happens within our family circle, God is going to look at us. Let me say that again. If anything happens in our family circle, in our order, in anything that is related to us immediately in our family, I ain't talking about distant cousins and the nephews that you don't want to cook at. I'm talking about your mother, your parents, your wife, your children. God is going to look at you. What did you do to make it right? Now, quick testimony. 2018, my wife and I lost our house to water and mold damage. We were homeless for about a year. Insurance took care of us for a while, but it let us go. Family took care of us for a while. My wife could have left. Because in this society, if a man is failing, he's no good. If a man makes a mistake, he's no good. If a man is in a position where things aren't going positive all the time, he's no good. And the world perpetuates it. The world looks down on us for being human, for being fallible, for, as Brother Corey said, for not knowing what we're doing sometimes, for being clueless. But other than the Bible itself as a guide for life, how many other guides are out there for learning how to be a man? And I'm going to say this with all due respect to my sisters, because I love my wife, my daughters, and my mother. And I respect them. But their salon shop talk is so much more supportive and so much more rooted in getting us moving forward, getting women moving forward together than our barbershop talk is about getting men moving forward together. Or has become. I was talking to these two brothers over here, and he brought up a good point. He said, you know, it used to be that way.
It used to be. Right? We're talking about how we went to the barbershop. Now, for us that have gray on our face and have been there, I remember going to the barbershop and you sit in that seat, keep quiet, don't say nothing to nobody. If they speak to you, yes, sir.
That's right.
Because that's what it was. Now, at the same time, you kept your ears open. Because you were waiting for that speak to come towards you so that you could say, yes, sir. However, that puts you in a position of listening. That puts you in a position of gaining wisdom. Then you became the spotlight. Because my grandfather took me to the barbershop. So my grandfather was proud of me to go to the barbershop. There's my grandson. Let me tell you about what he did in school. Yeah, tell him about that test you had. Tell him about that. You know, we went to go fishing. He caught a fish. He was doing this. I had the boy filleting the other day. And I had him do it. You know what? That was the proudest moments. Saturday mornings. We don't have that anymore. And for some reason it's fallen. In part because we have, as a society, put in the work. But we've been attacked. Because Satan is sitting there going, I use one of my quotes from Denzel Washington. You know what? When you're doing bad, when you're doing wrong, the devil ain't paying attention to you. But the minute you turn around and do something good, to do something positive, to do something that's going to be seen as motivating, moving forward, and being the man you should be, that's when the devil's going to try to attack you. That's when the devil's going to come at you. So the devil could have came at me when I lost that house. The devil could have came at me about not being able to pay the bills. The devil could have came to me about how I'm going to get my 2 current college daughters through college, and I don't even have a house to live in. Fast forward to 2020, you know, the pandemic, right? July 2020, and this is what really got us in our conversation. Pastor has this thing about bagels and Panera Bread. And he suckered me into a conversation. You know, I don't know. You know how pastors do. You know what I'm saying? They got that talk. Hey, how you doing? You know, they lay that voice on you. You gotta just talk to them, right? So we struck up a conversation. It was a great conversation. So I shared with him how in July of 2020, my testimony is I was afflicted with COVID. And I got admitted to the hospital. And the doctor looked at me and said, you know, when you say that, the doctor looked at me and said, you know, you have COVID. Now this is no vaccines. We don't know what's going on. People in these trucks, dead bodies, hospitals overflowing. The doctor looked at me and said, you know, you have COVID, we're going to put you on this ventilator. And we're going to do everything we can to save your life. Have faith. And at that moment, everybody's telling me, after I talked to them about it, they said, yeah, I bet you didn't pray. He was praying real hard. No. Let me tell you the simplest prayer. Lord, this is the exact words I said. Laying on a gurney, looking up at the lights. I just finished talking to my wife, crying, to tell her that the doctor said I'm going to be here. That I've been officially admitted. I have COVID. I give him the phone so he can explain. Because, you know, I'm upset. She upset. It ain't going to be a conversation. Lord, I don't know what you have planned, but let your will be done. I lay there for 30 days unconscious, in a coma. Came out of that coma, 8 days laying there, trying to come out of the drugs and the anesthetics and everything they put me through. And then 45 days after that, learned how to walk, talk, and breathe again. There's a scar on my neck right here that was about the size of a quarter, because there's a tube attached to my neck. And I had to have faith that man, in all of his wisdom, was educated enough to have a machine to breathe for me. And to hear that consistent beat from the machine to remind you that it's doing the work for you that God gave you is humbling. Can't talk. because the air's not coming out of your mouth. The air's going right into your throat. So now, I'm sitting there, no visitors, all alone, can't talk. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to God. I'm in full introspection on myself. I'm trying to figure out. I'm 51 years old. I ain't never been in the hospital for nothing. Ain't even had a sports injury. Sprained ankle at the most. Nothing broken. Praise God. I'm happy about that. But then you give me this, Lord. Now I'm having a dude conversation with God. He's on my level now, in my mind. Man, why you gonna do this to me? Bro, you know what you're doing? You're messing stuff up. I'm crying, trying to figure it out. Modern technology has put us into the capability of being able to video phone with each other. So after those first 8 days, my wife video phones me. I don't even have the strength to hold the iPad up. The nurse is holding it for me. And I can't talk. But she can see it in my eyes that I got my senses and I'm here. But when I say, when Pastor said about the importance of marriage, and I'm tying this in, gentlemen, I'm sorry, my emotions get to, when I'm saying that, I'm looking at my wife going, you still here? Praise God. Because right at this moment, I don't know what I would do without you. Now, at the same time, my wife had COVID. My oldest daughter had COVID. Asymptomatic the first, had some mild symptoms, stayed out of the hospital. But you're going through those 2 weeks where you're in quarantine, and you don't know what's going on, because remember, this is 2020. We don't know nothing about this thing. People dying. You get it, you die. That's it. Now I'm feeling guilty. Now I'm in the hospital crying because not because I'm happy to be alive, because now I feel like I failed my family. And God gave you a wife to be a helpmate. Let me tell you something, brothers. If you want to know a helpmate, her name is Tody, T-O-D-Y. She stands about 5 feet tall. And for the last 25 years, I've made the best choice I've ever made in my life. Why? Because I picked one that wasn't worried about this, wasn't worried about having that, wasn't worried about images. You know what she's worried about? She's worried about my lips being all cracked up because I had the tubes in my mouth. He don't look bad. He look bad. Put some chapstick on or something. Clean his face up. Can you shave him real quick? Just cut it down with some scissors or something. You know, my beard grew out. Like you know how your beard grow and you like wanted to grow but it don't? No, my beard grew everywhere, bro. I mean, I was woolly mammoth over here. Never had a real beard. I was praying to get one. They took a picture of me out of the hospital. I was like, can y'all take me back there so I can have that beard? But you know what? Having a woman being concerned about you, realizing you got a wife, and let me say it again, having a wife that's concerned about you, not just a woman. I had to rephrase that because, you know, having a woman around is one thing, but having a wife, a woman that knows what that title means, and doesn't fall into the fact that we're dealing with a society that's so worried about this whole, was it 2 Corinthians chapter 5? Wives, submit to your husband. Ephesians, not Ephesians chapter 5. Okay. So, a lot of ladies are killing on that submission word. As if it's a dog submitting to a master. It's never been that way. The analogy is right there. Wives, submit to your husband as Christ to the church. It's basically the same thing. So the importance of finding a wife like that is patience. It's getting out of your feelings and understanding that sometimes your wife got to check you for the mess you got. And you got to respect it. Because she got your best interests at heart. she's looking at you like, you know what? You know that old saying, I can do bad all by myself? Well, I got in this with you, so we ain't gonna do bad together. I'm not gonna let it happen. She's saying that to you because she sees something in you that you're not paying attention to. Now, we have our own problems. Okay? First of all, we black men. That's the problem. No disrespect. That's the problem in this society. And then we're men. So now we got a masculinity issue. We got a definition of what masculinity is. We got an issue with passing on masculinity to younger cats. Then we got a village problem. As Brother Corey said, he gonna have men around that you can have your son talk to. Because sometimes that objectionable opinion is the, let me say it again. The opinion you've been beating your son over the head with ain't gonna get heard from you all the time. And as I know, the hack man from old Super Pride Market up the street gave me more word than my father did sometimes, only because he was another dude. Because the authority in front of me, it's not that I didn't respect it, but when I heard it again from a whole nother aspect, it hit. And that's what we need. I need to be able to talk to this young fellow about something if I see him going the wrong way. Or if I see him going the right way. Because we need to encourage as well as listen. We need it on both sides. So going back to the wife. Going back to COVID. Going back to those days where I was learning how to walk and talk. She was right there. She made a choice. There's vows that you take when you get married. Ain't married men in the house get married? One or two of y'all? Okay, I understand. The rest of y'all just fill it in as we go. Okay. The rest of it. But us married guys, we know for a fact. We didn't know what we was getting into when we walked up there, bro. And true story, when I got married 25 years ago, my father-in-law looked at me. The day of the wedding, he came all the way up to the front. Right before we came out with the pastor, he said, "It's your last chance, boy." And you know, there's always that rear stairwell you always standing in the church before you come to the sanctuary. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I'm standing right there. Exit door is right behind me. He looked to me and said, "You can leave." And I looked down. My best man, my best man, God rest his soul. My best man since second grade. He was like, "Bro, did he just ask you that? You here? You got the tux on? You got the ring? I got the ring in my pocket, bro. What's going on? What do you say?" He said, "You can leave." I just want you to understand, this is a commitment. So I realized at that moment, I was lost. I had no idea what I was getting into, or how serious it was. Now, mind you, he's been married to his wife for 63 years. 63. And to see the value of that, to have that above you, the wisdom that you can tap into, it needs to be there. So I say that to say, when you get back to my wife being next to me, in my trials and my struggles and my tribulations, it ties all back into the original. Lean not on thine own understanding. Everybody knows that one, right? As I told these gentlemen here, it is not your place to understand God's plan. Let me say that again. It is not your place. So while I was laying there trying to figure it out, while I was talking to God like, "Bro, what is you doing?" It wasn't my place. First of all, I need to shut up and open my mind and be what I am from this point forward, which is eternally grateful. Because Lord, you made a choice to keep me here. I don't know why, nor do I care, because I'm following you. Did you hear me? I'm following. Because I got a man in front of me named God. Jesus Christ, that I'm following. Now, I'm following me, because I'm his embodiment on earth, is my wife. But she's right beside me. And she's the most important thing to me. Because you go through all of those things just to give it to you. You go through all of those things. And you need somebody right there that's going to see you at your best and at your worst. That's going to know you. That you ain't afraid to talk to about anything. That you're secure to go to when you have a problem. That you know is not going to hurt you emotionally. Not going to hurt you spiritually. Not going to mentally be a torment to you. That's the wife you want. If you ain't got that in your life, brother, you need to reevaluate that. And that may have been, unfortunately, a choice you made for some other reason. Well, let me just tell you, it's not too late. So you with a woman or not, it's not too late. It's not too late. Fix it. Make it right. Go to her. Talk to her. Let her know. Baby, you are my most valuable asset. But you are my confidant as well. And you know everything about me. And I want you to know everything about me. Because we want to be the ones to fix everything. I know that's me. Can't speak to nobody else. I know that's me. I want my wife to come to me about stuff that she needs to know, needs to get fixed. And so there's a problem. Baby, this ain't right with me. What I need to do. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, that. You need to do the same with her. She needs to be there for you because we have, as